John Thomas. And Vince Carter. Carter, the back, showtime. Oh, no. The other way is Carter. Oh. Carter elevates and throws it down. My goodness. Carter, and here comes the double team to Grant. Oh, no. The lob, there it is. An effort by Wallace to save it. This year, 20 of them on the floor, taking it to the...
Oh, my goodness, man. Did you see what I just saw?
That's my boy. Oh, 3-on-1. Carter to the basket. Vince Carter fights his way into the paint.
Carr defending Carter. Steps back to knock it down, and Vince Carter is just not missing from the outside.
Well, they're ready when they step in.
Vince Carter is not human.
Nice double down to trigger it loose. Vince Carter. Heads up. Oh! Until he got hurt. Vince Carter.
Fabian perspective, so accept it. Jesus Lord. You seen it right there. Friendly Fire. AllBall TV. Right there with your man, half amazing. Vince Carter. Shout out to Don Dropper. We were talking the other day, me, him, AllBall. Shout out to AllBall. And Don was asking, like, was Vince really, like that, basically? And we had to explain to him, like, he is the definition of the person that disappointed the GOAT level potential almost the most. Is he more, talented than LeBron? Like, that to me is arguable. Like, Vince Carter is insane. Those were his rookie highlights. And, I think Gilbert Arenas actually had something going on. One of his episodes, he was explaining why he would start Kobe, bench T-Mac, and cut Tracy McGrady, and some people had some backlash to it. But to me, I'm like, I get it. I get why you would cut T-Mac, cut Vince Carter. Because T-Mac may have been more talented, but the game still didn't come as easy as him as Vince Carter. Like, Vince Carter's college highlights are crazy. When I see him in college, we were hyped. That was his mixtape. Was it being at North Carolina with Antoine Jameson, because they got traded for each other on draft night on Golden State. So Vince was drafted by Golden State initially, and Antoine Jameson by Toronto, and they got traded for each other, which was crazy, right? They were teammates. And so his mixtape was being at UNC under Dean Smith. And you can see in those highlights just how easy the game came to him, how he shot the ball, the way he elevated was a Michael Jordan impersonation. He was also one of the guys in this Michael Jordan copycat. The league was trying to create the new Michael Jordan the entire time. They were trying to create it because they knew what he had. They knew when he left that the ratings were going to drop. They knew what a bonanza he was. I mean, he was out of this world. Michael Jordan was bigger than what LeBron is now. And I mean, who's your biggest celebrity right now? Like, just combined like LeBron and Drake or something like that. He wasn't even really, Mike wasn't as cool as like Jay-Z's mad cool. Like, Mike was never really that cool, but his game was so ill, and he played so like the way you want to play so badly that was cool. That was Vince as soon as he stepped on the court and did anything. His handle was amazing. He was definitely, just out of all the guys, the Harold Miners of the world, soon as he came to the league, it wasn't like, again, with Kobe, it felt like he was trying to be Michael Jordan. You can see the effort. With Vince, it was effortless. It was effortless. Like, everything he was doing, the double pumps, like, nobody was doing that. Remember, Jordan, I think Jordan has a 48-inch vertical. Vince might have over a 40-inch vertical, and just what had to be admitted by everyone was like, wait a minute, is this the best dunker we've ever seen? Because what he's doing is like, Mike wasn't doing that. Nobody's doing, like, they started copying Vince after what Zach LaVine did in the dunk competition and stuff. Like, all that stuff is amazing. Don't get me wrong. It might be better than what Vince did at the All-Star game against his cousin T-Mac, right? But I don't know. I still think Vince in-game dunking is the best ever. That was his rookie season highlight reel. Yeah, he's a different level. This is Gilbert Arenas talking about T-Mac, but sorry, bench cut.
Question number 2. Start, bench, cut, trade.
Trade.
I thought he said trade at first. I was like, so you just listed a lot of niggas to start, bench, or cut, but start, bench, cut, trade. Kobe, T-Mac, Vince, D-Wade.
What does trade mean?
So I'm gonna start
I don't
Kobe.
like that option.
Bench D-Wade.
Was
it?
Wait, what is
Kobe, T-Mac, Vince, D-Wade.
And what was the
start, cut, bench, trade?
Yeah, start, bench, cut, trade.
I'm a trade.
What does that even mean, though?
I'm a trade.
Trade?
Damn, man, I gotta trade.
That's like the same as
Man, he's on your team. You gotta get rid of him.
Yeah, I gotta trade.
right. That's like cut.
But the problem with the cut or trade is I'm just gonna package both of them up.
Another team instead of cutting you to the
Yeah, I'm gonna package both of y'all in the trade.
You get something back.
You get something back.
You just cut.
Trade, you get something
Yeah,
back.
but why would you cut when you could just trade them?
Right.
But
I'm packaging both of y'all.
That's
I'm
a dumb.
gonna.
All right, we'll fast forward this.
I don't know. I just.
I don't know.
No, I
mean,
he's just not someone I've watched him and like, look.
with those 4, I'm keeping Kobe. I'm benching Vince. I'm cutting D-Wade.
See,
And I'm trading for T-Mac. T-Mac got good trade value. I can get something good for him.
See, like, Stephen A. Smith just went crazy on Rashard Evans, Rashard McCants. And Rashard McCants just seems to have, you say, the unpopular opinion. He knows what he's doing. I like Rashard McCants because he's on the show and he gets it. He knows that I think he's being authentic, but he also knows, like, man, this is how I feel. I don't care what you feel. And there's nothing like audacity. There's nothing like real confidence in yourself. But he's dead wrong. You're not keeping Vince over D-Wade. Just D-Wade's not getting cut. D-Wade played. He played. He went at Kobe. Like Vince, he would go at Kobe, but he was still, there were years where he took off. Before he went to the Nets, he took off. He was doing what we're accusing Zion of doing. Vince was doing that. He threw in the whole season. He did fadeaway layups. Like it was the competitiveness level wasn't D-Wade. D-Wade is dirty. D-Wade was a dirty dude. Like he broke Kobe's nose at the All-Star game. Give me that guy any day. And D-Wade's not as talented as any one of those guys. Right? But he might be more skilled. He might be more skilled than Vince. Vince is more talented. Game 8 came easier to him. But D-Wade's putting the pressure.
I ain't getting rid of no Vince Carter when I got Vince coming off the bench with Kobe out there.
We talk
Kobe
about like
Vince.
prime T-Mac, correct?
Yeah. And prime.
Wait,
Vince.
are we
Prime
talking?
Vince.
Prime.
Wait, hold on. I'm thinking about the critic. Got the back injury. I'm doing.
No, Gil. How's you thinking about that?
I'm just thinking about I'm
You
thinking
gotta
about the totality of it all.
Prime, bro.
This is the
He didn't say prime.
best version of all these
Why would you
players.
go to the back injuries and shit, nigga? What? Why would you include that? You looking at the worst version of all of them?
4-year-old, no, the best.
Hell no.
The best of them, the best version of themselves. I'm assuming.
Yeah,
That's how I think about these questions.
that's how I picked it.
But my answer is the same.
Even though
Well,
I love D-Wade to the point where it's like it's tough to cut him, but I got 3 taller, like more dimensional players to pick from. So I gotta send you bon voyage, brother.
Ta-ta.
Bon.
Wait,
T-Mac.
Who did
And then it's like if D-Wade had Shaq, I mean, if Vince Carter had Shaq, second year in the league, right? Like, shout out to my man Ryan Hamilton. He always points out that Vince had the jumper's knee or something after that 2000 Olympics. Something went on with a bunch of these players, and they all got hurt, and they weren't the same. Ray Allen, a lot of these guys got knee injuries that were bad in the early 2000s, and these guys, like Vince, would kill in this era. Just we would think like, oh wow, like he's better than your guy. Anybody that played in the 90s and 2000s, he's the guy that, you know, just the game came so easy to him. It's crazy.
Did you cut?
I cut T-Mac.
Oh.
Back injury.
Okay.
I mean, this is,
You are petty.
He is petty.
I'm thinking about like you didn't tell me like the peak of whatever.
Okay.
Come on,
he just didn't have the killer mentality. He wasn't lazy.
No, okay, the killer mentality then.
Okay,
right. So if
Hey, he's talking about Vince now, right?
Did he go? Come on.
He just didn't have.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, when I'm thinking about the game, like, no, I'm just saying. But I'll cut Vince because he would be the laziest out of all of them.
Damn. You know what? I'm gonna go use a barrel on that.
No, I'm just saying.
That's fair. That's a fair.
No, I'm just saying, like, I mean, when I'm thinking about the game, like, I'm bringing him off the bench.
He's lazy.
Off the bench.
Did he go? Come on.
He just didn't have the killer mentality. He wasn't lazy.
No, okay, the killer mentality then.
Okay.
Right? So if
you gonna call that lazy?
If somebody would have told you Vince never averaged more than 27, 28, 29, what would you say? If I told you he stopped being...
With his talent?
If he stopped being an all-star by the age of 28, 29.
I wouldn't believe you.
You wouldn't? No.
I think about that. Goal level potential.
But does it mean lazy?
When did he retire?
Vince?
Yeah.
He's 40.
2020.
Right before COVID.
40.
I was there.
41 years old.
Game in Atlanta.
2020.
The last game before they stopped the game.
But the last season he averaged over 20 points was 2009.
So 20 points 2009. His last All-Star was 2006?
2007.
2007? How old was he?
He was somewhere in the range of 30 at that point.
So 29. Right? And so I'm like,
So you say you think he could have been better longer?
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
But he was
windmilling if he was windmilling at 43.
But we not talking about, we just talking prime though. We're talking prime. Vince was the best in the league.
No, he was never the best ever. He never played like that. He never. I used to sit there and do that like, yo,
2000 Vince? Toronto 2000 Vince?
2001, he averaged 28,
Oof.
6 and 4 assists.
How old was he?
24.
24. Now you see where my problem is. At 24, he's averaging 28.
He's the best player in the league, bro.
And then 25, 26,
he got traded.
27, 28.
He got traded.
Like 25 to 29 is when you're supposed to be apex.
But look, he got traded. It fucked up his whole psyche.
Come on, man.
That was a conversation I used to have with him. He was like, I really thought I was going to spend my career in Toronto.
Yeah.
And it fucked with my head because...
because of people weren't as receptive to players' feelings like they are now.
Oh, man.
Toronto fucked him up. I'm going to be honest with you.
Here's an interesting point. Toronto messed them up. Because we forget that these guys are human and we don't know what would affect us, right? But I would think that would affect me. Damn. How did Toronto mess them up? How did playing in Toronto mess you up?
If I got to take anybody's skills out of any player ever, I'm saying I want Vince's. Give me Vince. All of stuff Vince has, give it to me.
To add to what you already have.
Add to my mentality, give me Vince. Right? I got all these people in history. Right? Michael Jordan. Right? I can't be Kobe, he's regular. Right? Michael Jordan. You're talking about Shaquille O'Neal. You're talking about, but maybe LeBron, right? But I'm off the rip. I'm saying I'll take Vince. Give me Vince.
Vince not
hands, lazy. Arms, jumping ability. Like I'm.
Vince not lazy.
Maybe lazy is the wrong
Vince
word.
not 43. Definitely
43.
Find a new adjective.
43 windmilling. 40.
Lazy is
Lazy
a strong
is a very
word,
strong
Gil.
word to tag
That's a
player
very strong word, bro.
You don't gotta say
It's
lazy.
a very
I don't want to hear about an argument over lazy.
Depends on
like Gilbert only he's like nah. Gilbert not stupid. Gilbert
right? I want a 6-figure person, right? That goes from 100,000 to 999,000. You know what I mean? So there's levels of this. So if I'm saying he's lazy, it's compared to my work ethic. I don't know what his work ethic is. So to me,
so how could you say he lazy?
To me,
if you don't know what his work ethic is, you can't say it.
I don't know what his work ethic is to you. It might be apex. To me, it's lazy compared to what I'm.
But you said you don't know his work ethic.
If I
Shout out to my guy Zach from the Z Show. Application. Right now, LeBron James is caused the uproar because I'm saying LeBron James is the Lakers' third option. He's playing like the first option. He goes into every huddle and every game into being the first option. AD is supposed to be the first option. He doesn't want to be the first option. We all know this. He doesn't want to be the center. He doesn't want to do what it takes to be the first option. So guess what? Now you're relegated to the second option because we got to feed you the ball. We have to run the offense some way, somehow, and you're involved in this damn team. You're the second option just because you showed up. That's how great of a talent he is. LeBron is efforting his way to being the first option on the Lakers, and he should not be. It's part of the reason why they're messing up. The reason why he's not mostly is because of his age. You can tell he slowed down. He couldn't even deal with 2 double teams last night. They really paused. They really gave the ball up, turned the ball over. It was just crazy to watch. Couldn't step through and just pass it out. He would usually pass it. What he wants to do and the application process, 2 different things. Where he can actually be applied on the court. What is actually being applied on the court. Gil's point. I don't know his work ethic. This is what I think Gil meant to say. We don't know Vince Carter's work ethic. Let's say he did work as hard as Gilbert Arenas off the court. On that court, though, in game time, what was applied, it didn't show like the rest of these guys. It didn't show like people that we thought, like, even with Jordan may and Vince may be like same level talent. Like Vince is just with easy shooting over people like that. His rookie season, he gets to copy Michael Jordan, who mastered everything and the game. Now you get to walk through that playground of Jordan. He showed you exactly where to jump from, and then Kobe mastered it. So just think about that. I always use the Kobe Shaq example, right? Sound like a broken record. But if Shaq had Kobe's mentality, then we wouldn't even be talking about Jordan. It's just, if Wilt had Jordan's mentality, we wouldn't be there would be no comment. If LeBron had Mike's, if any one of them had Kobe's mentality, this wouldn't be. If Vince Carter had Kobe's mentality and application, because he would have the application if he had the mentality, because he would do it on the court in real time, he'd be the best. He'd be rivaling Michael Jordan. We would be like, damn, I don't know, Mike. I don't know, because you can't dunk like this. There would be no Dominique. We're stealing this dunk competition from you. Vince is taking that from you. Absolutely is. Absolutely is. Best in-game dunker ever. Yeah.
If I have a Bugatti and you say, yeah, I got this Ferrari, boom, 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 and I'm like, nigga, that's slow.
And you can
right? But it's still my car.
Say that though, because he's played it, and that's why when non-former players and coaches and GMs tag players as lazy and this and that, you've never done any of this.
Yeah, he played till he's 43 years old.
Why do you tag players like that?
And
I'm just saying.
And my argument would be this. Here's my argument. Everything he needed to be great, he didn't do. He used it to stay in the league longer.
Explain.
The three workouts a day, the film session, the summer, like not partying, the really focusing to be 28, you're 24, averaging 28, to take that leap like the Kobe's and the Michael Jordans, right? You didn't do it. You became an NBA player, but you were just so gifted like a Shaquille O'Neal. You're just gifted in everybody, right? You can just go into the summer not working out, not touching the ball, then come into training camp and still average 24 and 25, which
Booby Miles.
Fucking Booby Miles. When your career started to tween out, that's when you want to take it serious. So
because you got to survive and
so you're doing whatever it takes to hang on. Now you're changing your diet, you're going to sleep early, you're doing all this. So you're doing it when you want to just play longer, and I didn't.
So you just questioning his work ethic more than it is just saying that he's lazy.
I'm mad at history, right? And I'm pretty sure there's players in the 60s and the 70s and 80s that looked at a guy and said, he should have been all world. And that was the guy for me that I'm looking at. You know, when you watch movies, right? And there's this demigod and that Hancock.
Yeah.
He's my Hancock.
Yep.
Not the one who turned into the drunk nigga on the bench.
Hey, yo.
With all the superpower. With all the superpower. Just boom, boom.
Yeah.
He can do whatever
oh, fuck.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, my first introduction, like, this is like when it's more than what everyone knows. Like, it's that pet peeve of mine. He is the pet peeve of me because my first introduction into the NBA was Vince Carter, pull it back, dunk. Right? I even went into the locker room to get the autograph during what's the name. So it was the guy. Like, this is the guy. Right? And then watching them day in and day out, and it's like, yo, do what you did last time. Do what you did last time. Do what you did last time.
I don't want to, man. Move around.
Like,
where my fucking whiskey at?
Like watching the game. Like, I don't know if anybody ever heard me say it. I was like, I questioned, was I an NBA player because of him? What he did to Jason Richardson, and you know, Jason Richardson to me he's like a demigod.
Right.
Right? He's still windmilling his head still at the rim today. So when I watched a demigod get out demigod, I'm like, oh no. Oh no.
It's a lot.
I'm not good enough in the NBA. Like, that's when I went and I was depressed. Like, I'm not good enough. Like, he was the reason. So to see how it ends is like,
it's a disappointment.
Yes. Like, you made me retire and I wasn't even on the court. I mentally retired because of, it's like watching the dude and he doing all these windmills and he get out windmill. Like, wait, hold on. This is Meg too. This is the alpha of the jumping abilities.
It's almost like being in layup line and you see that one nigga doing all that crazy shit and then the game starts and he on the bench.
Yeah.
You're like, what the? I thought that was gonna be the nigga that was gonna kill us. He ain't see a minute.
Like, I just put, it might be just me. I put him so high. I put him so high. Like,
it ain't just you. He was my favorite of all time.
He was the
and then I seen Kobe Bryant. I was like, oh, that nigga got this shit right here. Now, come here, motherfucker. And Vince never had. He
was the NBA player that scared me. And yo, there was no G League then. There was no G League then. But I was like, telling him, hey man, where's all them players I played against in summer league? Because this ain't the NBA. I'm a part of. I want that summer league shit. Them motherfuckers.
I was busting their ass.
I was busting their ass. This is another NBA.
That's crazy.
This is one I watch on TV. I don't want this one. I want the other one. Where's the other one at?
Damn.
I'm not ready for this level. Dude, they moving too fast.
That's the way the talent was, though. Him and T-Mac, them niggas be like
me and Jay Rich, we looking like, oh, what was that? You see what he just did to us? to us. Then go down and goddamn Michael Finley. Like, goddamn.
Yeah, man. That's how it was for us, man. Like, I was in high school. Vince Carter was SportsCenter was what Twitter is now. That's what SportsCenter was. That's what SportsCenter was. We would rewatch SportsCenter if you stayed home from school. Tape SportsCenter, rewatch it over and over again. Eat a bowl of cereal. Vince Carter highlights and Allen Iverson big time in high school. we thought he would be bigger than Mike. It wasn't Kobe back then. It just really wasn't. And for Gilbert Arenas to say that, that's ill. Because if you're like, as fans, we thought that. So he's an NBA player that said that and felt the same way. And he views him as competition. He has to compete with him. And he sees how easy things come to him, but he didn't have the same work ethic, or it didn't work out. And that's what I always say. Like, people have GOAT level potential, but they don't necessarily, for some reason, they don't have everything. Like, that's what makes Kobe so special. And like, I have to make an official top 10, but I always battle whether he's in my top 10 or not, because he is fighting giants. Like, at the end of the day, Kobe's battling against, let's say, someone with Vince Carter's potential, who he was, competing with. But now you have Vince Carter with the same heart as you. You understand that? Like, that's what Jordan is. Like, that's what Jordan is. So it's tough to compete against that as an all-time great. So now imagine that when you're Vince Carter, who didn't really have the heart in our minds as a fan, as a spectator, whatever. And Gilbert Arenas, like, is so polarizing that when you agree with him, this is great. When you don't agree with him, you think he's a fool. And I think I'm the same way. Like I said, people call me all kind of names, and they're cursing me out right now over a Knicks take that I had, but that just comes with just trying to express what you're saying. And I know I could be wrong. And I hope that we just have a collection of fans, a collective of just a community that wants to do the same thing. We want to get it wrong because we're trying to get it right. Fabian Perspective, expect it, so accept it. Friendly Fire, AllBall TV, man.